the death of many escorts at the hands of a psychopath. The film begins by showing a woman named Lena walking out of a hotel. Lena is an escort, a call girl whose job is to satisfy the desires of lustful men. She has just finished serving a client in the hotel. On her way home, unexpectedly, Lena is dragged into the bushes by a mysterious man. There, she is brutally murdered by a psychopath. Because of her severe wounds, Lena bleeds out and dies on the spot. This horrifying incident attracts the attention of many passers-by. An inspector named Aliardi quickly arrives at the crime scene to investigate Lena's death. This murder becomes the third case to occur in just a few weeks. Judging from the victims' backgrounds, it seems the psychopath is specifically targeting women who work as escorts. According to a witness, a hotel employee claimed to have seen a van leaving the parking lot shortly after Lena's death. Aliardi then asks the hotel management to show him the CCTV footage from the time of the incident. After reviewing the footage, they see a man entering a black van and hastily driving away. With this evidence, Aliardi knows he must catch the psychopath as soon as possible.
Accidenti, ma l'immagine è sfocata. Controlliamo, non si sa mai. È nero. Però non è tutto, guarda qui la targa.
The scene then shifts to a woman named Diana. Diana is a beautiful woman who also works as an escort. She usually serves men in hotels, though sometimes they come directly to her home. This time, Diana receives a new client named Matteo, who is very eager to be intimate with her. Just after meeting Matteo, Diana feels very uncomfortable as she smells dog feces on his body, since Matteo works at a dog kennel and has just come home from work. Diana asks him to take a shower first before being intimate with her in order to get rid of the unpleasant odor. Although Diana serves clients regardless of their physical appearance, she's very particular about their body odor. If a client smells bad, Diana will directly ask them to bathe. Even though she uses polite words, it seems Diana's request offends Matteo. Feeling upset, Matteo cancels his session with her. After that, Diana heads to a hotel to meet her next client. But before they even begin, Diana gets into an argument with him because the client forces her to do something she dislikes. The man begins to get violent with Diana, leaving her no choice but to fight back.
No. Senti, io non voglio orgasmi e soprattutto...
After managing to escape, Diana rushes to her car. However, just as she is about to leave, she is confronted by a mysterious man trying to force his way inside. Seeing this, Diana immediately steps on the gas to get away. But from behind, the man continues chasing her in a white van. Terrified, Diana keeps increasing her speed until she fails to notice another car crossing in front of her, leading to an inevitable crash. The accident causes a severe blow to the back of her head, resulting in fatal damage to the part of the brain responsible for processing visual information. This leaves Diana permanently blind for the rest of her life. She is devastated, realizing she can no longer see the world again. Meanwhile, the car Diana collided with was driven by a Chinese family consisting of a father, mother, and child. The father was pronounced dead at the scene, while the mother remains in a coma. Fortunately, their child named Chin survived the crash, suffering only minor injuries. After her condition improved, Diana was visited by Inspector Aliardi, who wanted to hear her testimony about the cause of the accident.
Ma l'ha visto l'uomo che l'ha aggredita?
Macchina con un furgone bianco.
Bianco? No, intendo dire che...
Diana explained that before the crash happened, she was almost attacked by a mysterious man. She could not see his face because he was wearing a hooded jacket and the area was very dark at the time. When he failed to attack her, the man chased Diana with a white van. Aliardi suspected that the man might have repainted his van before carrying out the murders, since in the previous cases he had been seen driving a black van. Based on Diana's testimony, Aliardi became certain that the killer of Lena and the mysterious man who chased Diana were one and the same, given the matching detail of the van and the fact that the targets were all escorts. Now, Aliardi only needed to uncover the true identity of the psychopath. Once Diana was declared recovered, she was finally allowed to return home.
Madre di
pomeriggio sprecherò per te.
Because of her blindness, Diana had to undergo a series of special rehabilitation programs to adapt to her new condition. An instructor named Rita was assigned to guide Diana so she could live normally despite being blind. In their first meeting, Rita gave her a cane as a mobility aid, allowing Diana to walk more freely and independently.
Era ordinatissima. Indispensabile. Per esempio qua.
Ok. Grazie.
Rita also provided a special phone designed for the visually impaired. Diana was very grateful for Rita's help and guidance, which enabled her to continue her life despite losing her sight. Later, Rita took Diana for a walk while explaining how to use the cane and the things Diana needed to do as a blind person.
Qua finisce il marciapiede. Facciamo? Sì, dai, spingi.
Feeling tired from walking, they sat down on a park bench. Diana asked Rita what was happening around them at that moment. Rita described that the weather was cloudy and several people were strolling in the park. She also mentioned a white van parked across the street. The sight of the white van immediately reminded Diana of the one that had chased her before. She feared that the psychopath might still be after her life after failing to kill her the first time. Panicked, Diana urged Rita that they should go home immediately. Considering Diana's blindness, it would be very difficult for her to escape if the psychopath attacked again. Therefore, Rita suggested that Diana adopt a guard dog to help protect her from danger. Diana then decides to adopt a dog named Nuria, who will always stay by her side.
Sitz! Latz!
Imparerete a conoscervi.
The next day, Diana visits the orphanage where Chin is currently living. Even though the accident happened unintentionally, Diana still feels deeply guilty toward Chin's family. Because of the crash, Chin now has to live alone, waiting for his mother to recover. Diana comes to see Chin with the intention of comforting him, knowing he is still grieving the loss of his father. She brings him a toy, and while handing it over, Diana apologizes to Chin for causing so much suffering to him and his family. At first, Chin is hesitant to accept the toy, but eventually he takes it and gratefully thanks Diana for visiting him.
Grazie. Ciao, Shin.
Before leaving, Diana leaves her phone number at the orphanage, hoping the caretakers will contact her if Chin needs anything. A few days later, Chin suddenly shows up at Diana's house. He has run away from the orphanage because he does not want to be adopted by another family. Since his mother is still in a coma with very little chance of survival, the orphanage plans to find a new family for him. But Chin refuses, holding on to hope that his mother will eventually wake up. That is why he hides at Diana's house, determined not to be placed with someone else. At first, Diana considers returning Chin to the orphanage by calling Inspector Aliardi. However, Chin threatens to commit suicide if she does.
Con una penna ti volevi ammazzare.
Adesso ci rilassiamo. Andiamo.
Not wanting anything terrible to happen to him, Diana allows Chin to stay in her home temporarily. Because she now has to support both herself and Chin, her savings quickly begin to dwindle. Despite her blindness, Diana has no choice but to work again to cover their needs. She contacts one of her regular clients. Even though Diana's condition is no longer the same as before, the man still wants to spend the night with her and pays her a high price. After finishing her work, Diana takes Chin and Rita out for dinner at a restaurant. Without their knowledge, every move Diana makes is being closely watched by the mysterious man. The next day, Diana receives a phone call from the hospital where Chin's mother is being treated. The hospital informs her that Chin's mother has passed away. However, Diana cannot bring herself to tell Chin the truth, so she only says that his mother is still in a coma. Suddenly, two inspectors named Lucy and Jerry arrive, looking for Chin. They suspect that Chin went to Diana's house since Diana had previously called Inspector Aliardi. They demand to enter her home to search for Chin. Diana lies to them, saying that Chin has never been there. Realizing that Diana is lying, Jerry forces his way into the house. Diana immediately commands Neria to drive Jerry out. She then orders both Lucy and Jerry to leave her home. Before leaving, Lucy gives Diana her phone number, asking her to call if she learns anything about Chin's whereabouts.
Cosa volete da me?
E quindi non era lei che ha telefonato per...
Questo è il mio numero.
After this incident, Diana realizes that Chin cannot stay at her house much longer since the inspectors are bound to return looking for him. Therefore, Diana comes up with the idea of taking Chin to his own home, which is not far from there.
Senza di lei, sì. È di vetro.
Sì, è di vetro.
Not long after Diana and Chin leave, the psychopath breaks into Diana's house, intending to kill her, but finding no one there, he kidnaps Naria instead. At the same time, Lucy and Jerry secretly come to Diana's house again to search for Chin. Seeing the house in darkness, they assume Diana is not home. Lucy quickly informs Alairdi.
Cazzo, non risponde. Moliardi, va. Sì, resto qui. È quello che stiamo...
From a distance, the psychopath speeds toward them in his van and crashes into Jerry, killing him instantly. Not stopping there, he also murders Lucy brutally. Alairdi and the police immediately arrive at Diana's house to investigate the deaths of Lucy and Jerry. Since Diana is not home, Alairdi orders his men to go to Chin's house to check if Diana and Chin are there. Meanwhile, Diana and Chin manage to enter Chin's house, but they quickly realize that Alairdi's men are on their way there. Chin immediately urges Diana to escape with him.
Andiamo. Ma dove stiamo?
Meno male, sì.
With nowhere else to go, Diana and Chin decide to head to Rita's house.
Buonasera. Ciao.
Oh. Perché?
Diana asks Chin to rest for a while as she speaks privately with Rita. Rita then explains that 2 police officers were murdered in front of Diana's house, and it seems the killer is the psychopath targeting Diana's life. This situation becomes even more dangerous for both Diana and Chin, as the psychopath will not allow Diana to escape alive. Rita suggests that Diana report the matter to the police in hopes of receiving additional protection. However, Diana hesitates, knowing that if she calls the police, they will also discover Chin's presence with her. She cannot allow the authorities to take Chin away and have him adopted by another family. Unbeknownst to Diana, Chin overhears their conversation. He begins to feel that he is nothing but a burden to her. Not wanting to cause Diana further trouble, Chin decides to turn himself in to the police. He calls Lucy's phone, asking to be picked up. But without Chin knowing, Lucy's phone is now in the possession of the psychopath. The psychopath answers the call and asks Chin where he is. Chin reveals that he and Diana are at Rita's house, located on a plantation. After ending the call, the true identity of the psychopath is finally revealed. It is Matteo. All along, Matteo has been the murderer responsible for killing 3 escorts in the city, and now he is after Diana. The main reason Matteo committed these crimes is because those women, including Diana, insulted him about his foul body odor. Driven by this grudge, Matteo turned into a psychopath, seeking revenge by killing them. Soon, Matteo will head to Rita's house to kill Diana. Back to Diana. After helping Diana bathe, Rita asks permission to leave for a while to visit her friend's house.
Torna, sì.
On the way, Rita passes by a white van driven by Matteo heading in the direction of her home. Instantly, Rita recalls the white van belonging to the psychopath targeting Diana's life. She quickly calls Diana, warning her that the psychopath is on his way to the house. Matteo notices Rita and realizes she is Diana's friend. He immediately chases her, causing Rita's car to crash. With all her strength, Rita tries to run away, but unfortunately, Matteo catches her and strangles her to death with a rope. Meanwhile, Diana and Chin flee from Rita's house to escape Matteo.
Aspetta.
È a terra, non si muove.
After walking for a long while, they come across Rita's lifeless body. Her death leaves Diana devastated, as Rita was her very first true friend. Overwhelmed with fear, Chin pleads with Diana to take him to see his mother. With a heavy heart, Diana is forced to finally tell him the truth, that his mother has already passed away. Chin breaks down in tears upon hearing the news. Diana then urges Chin to keep moving, knowing their lives remain in grave danger. They continue walking through the forest until they reach the main road.
Ok,
Dimmelo.
sì.
From afar, Chin sees a car driven by two men. Diana asks them for help, explaining she is being hunted by a psychopath. The men gladly reassure Diana not to worry, promising to protect her. But before they can leave, Matteo crashes his van into their car and attacks both men. Seeing a chance to escape, Diana and Chin run away, but sadly Matteo easily captures them. He immediately ties them up and takes them to his home, which is filled with dogs. There, Matteo explains his reason for wanting to kill Diana, because she humiliated him. As an act of revenge, Matteo begins pouring water on Diana repeatedly. From the dog kennel, Nuria hears the desperate screams of Diana and Chin. Realizing her owner is in danger, Nuria begins to struggle violently until she finally breaks free from her cage. She runs straight to the room where Diana and Chin are being held. Without hesitation, Diana commands Nuria to kill Matteo. Obeying her, Nuria savagely tears Matteo apart, ending his life exactly as Diana ordered. At last, Diana succeeds in killing Matteo and putting an end to his series of brutal murders. A few hours later, Aliardi arrives at the scene to recover Matteo's body and rescue Diana and Chin.
Fermatevi qui.
In the final scene, Diana takes Chin to the airport. After the deaths of his father and mother, Chin's custody is officially transferred to his relatives in Hong Kong, fulfilling Chin's own wish. He must now move to Hong Kong and begin a new life there. The farewell is heartbreaking for both Chin and Diana, who have formed a close bond. Before parting, Chin asks Diana to visit him in Hong Kong someday if she has the chance. After Chin departs, Diana is left without a friend. Only Nuria remains, her loyal companion. Diana then resumes her life as usual, with Nuria faithfully by her side. And thus, the story comes to an end.